everyone and welcome back to my channel. So you're probably wondering why I'm wearing the same makeup in this video as my last video. I'm trying to pre-record as many videos as I can. And so today I wanted to do a story time because I think my channel is going to be a mix of story times, makeup tutorials, probably some unsolved cases because that's like another thing I like to do. But today I'm back with another story time of my first times. So my last story time I did, of course I have to have a beer with this because my god, all guys are fuckboys, let me just tell you stories I'm about to tell you. So it's going to be my first kiss, my first boyfriend, and the first, my first time, and how those experiences went for me. So let's get started. So my first kiss was when I was about 15 years old, and I was working at a pizza place, which out here in California, if you live here, it's called Round Table Pizza. And man, just remembering this has just got me all jacked up because I could not believe this. So I was 15 at the time. I wasn't driving, which is a whole nother story about how I got my license, when I got my license, blah blah. Anyway, and so this guy I worked with, we'll call him, what do I want to call him, his real name, Sam. We'll call him Sam. And so at the time, we kind of like flirted back and forth at work, and so he would take me home sometimes. And this particular night, he took me home. And the reason I'm compiling all these stories, just a side note, is because they're not really long enough in detail for me to make one whole video about them. So anyway, he's taking me home. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's so cute. I really like him, blah, blah, blah. But, I didn't think anything of it. I believe he was probably 4 years older than me, 3 years. I don't fucking know how old he was, but older than me, and annoying that I can't even. So then, he's driving me home. He drops me off. We're sitting in front of my mom's house. That's where I lived at the time. And he just decides that he's just gonna come in and just boom, just kiss me. And it wasn't just a peck on the lips, it was a French kiss. So not only was my first kiss just by somebody that's experienced, and I'm over here what the hell, it's this complete makeout session. So awkward. I had no clue what I was doing, no clue what to expect, and then this guy just boom, just comes at me, and I was like, what the hell? So I was like, okay, and it's your first kiss, so you're just all excited. You're like, yeah, now we're gonna be in a relationship and all this stuff. Tip number one, I've done this so many times, I never learn. I could just be going on about all these people that I've dated at the workplace. But when they tell you, don't date at the workplace, don't fucking date at the workplace, because literally this kind of shit happens and you have to then work with them. Excuse me while I take another drink because, oh my god. So then, we go and we have to work together. I'm assuming the next night. I don't know, this was 15 years ago. But anyway, so we had to work together again. And he's kind of acting weird. And so when things like that happen, you're just completely questioning yourself. Did I do something wrong? Did I kiss him wrong? Why doesn't he want to pay attention to me? Blah, blah, blah. So I kind of am resentful towards him. At this point, I'm just kind of okay, so I'm really not understanding what I've done wrong, but okay. And so then, I didn't hear it from him, but I heard it from somebody else. And they were like, yeah, Sam's engaged to this girl. They're going to be getting married, blah, blah, blah. And I said, excuse me? So after that, I made it my mission to just be hella mean to him because I obviously couldn't tell anybody about what happened. So now I'm just I can't believe he didn't tell me. So we had these things underneath the pizza line where you kept all the ingredients and then you just open them up and you got in there to get whatever you needed. And so he was standing by there one day and he was standing facing me, and I opened it and just hit him, bam, right in the balls, just as hard as I could. So I was so pissed off at him. And I don't really remember if I ever told him that I knew he was engaged or I just completely stopped talking to him altogether, but it was a literal shit show. Worst mistake ever. I couldn't even believe it, but I didn't even initiate it, so I guess it's just whatever. So moving on to my sophomore year of high school. And this was pretty much, I guess, around the same time. I had met, at the time, my boyfriend. And I'm not even going to give him a name because most people that are going to watch this are going to know who he is anyway, himself included. Now, let me just say that nowadays he's a completely different person. Very nice. We do get along. His wife is awesome. But he was not always the best of people. So my first boyfriend, we get together and things are going good, you know, but I'm like this sweet little like innocent girl at the time because I really was. I was like so shy. I had no experience in anything. Like I'm literally like the epitome of like a late bloomer. So, you know, we're together and it's been like a month or two. And, you know, in high school, that's everything. Like, you're like, wow, I'm doing great things. Like 2 months, that's like an eternity. But he ended up being like a complete, like, jerk to me. Like, the way he treated me was bad, but I just like kept staying there and kept staying there. And really everything was kind of like off and on for like a few years. But like he was one of those people that just didn't he didn't want to be with me per se anymore because I was like too innocent, but then he didn't really want me with anyone else either. And he says it's because like, you know, I knew who these people that you were trying to talk to were and I didn't want you to get hurt, blah, blah, blah. But in the whole time, like, he's, like, hurting me. And so I guess, like, the reason I'm even bringing this part of, like, things up is because it was my first real boyfriend and I was so stuck on it for almost all of high school. Like, I didn't even really get over him until I met my last real boyfriend because it was just, he was constantly consuming my time. Like, I needed validation. Like, why didn't he like me? You know, why would he do this to me? Like, is this normal? You know, things that even I kind of still deal with today. So for anyone that's like younger than me, you know, you get this first boyfriend and they're treating you a certain way and you think that like that's just how it is and that's how I'm going to be treated. Don't fall for it. Like, there's somebody else out there that will treat you way better and not to get like stuck on it. And then moving forward, that lasted for a while. He got like switched to another school, and then I got kicked out to a continuation school because of my grades, and that is where I met the guy that I had my first time with. And this particular instance, I probably should not have done this because so I met him at the end of my junior year, and then we like were dating over the summer. And then right before school started, like, we were hanging out and this and that, and one thing leads to another, and I just was like, you know what? Everyone else is losing their virginity, so why not me? I'm gonna do it. I just want to get it over with. Worst experience ever. It was awkward. There was nothing exciting about it. Like, I had no feelings for him whatsoever. So we kind of stayed together, school started again, and then he just kind of disappeared. Like, he stopped going to school, and I didn't want that. So, like, I ended up breaking up with him. And if that's the thing about it, is it's like when everyone's like, oh, who'd you lose their virginity to? And I tell them, I'm like, I had no emotional attachment to him. I had no problem breaking up with him at all. Like, it didn't even really faze me. Like, I was a little upset because I don't like hurting people, but it wasn't like my life is over, like it's gonna be like ending because he's, you know, not in my life anymore. Like, I didn't care. So for people, I always say, like, everyone's like, I want to lose my virginity and I want to lose it right now, but then I think I'm like, I wish I wouldn't have done that, because in the end, like, it didn't do anything for me except, you know, yeah, like, technically now I've lost my virginity, woohoo, I'm part of that club. But, you know, I hurt someone in the end, and it didn't do anything for me except make me feel like, well, why did I even do that in the first place? Like, it's really stupid. And speaking of that person that I lost my virginity to, I found him on Facebook, because you know how, like, you just, Facebook came along and you want to see, like, how everyone is doing. So I found him on there. And he starts messaging me, and I didn't want, like, anything, like, I didn't want to say, like, oh, I miss you or something. I just, you know, I generally want to know how people are doing. I just can't with this. So he is messaging me, and he's like, oh, I miss you, like, I think about you sometimes, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, fuckboy status. times a million. Like every guy I seem to come in contact with, it's like fuckboy, fuckboy, fuckboy. If there's any nice guys out there besides like, well, I know a couple, but like, like guys that I genuinely am interested in, it's like they might as well just have fuckboy tattooed on their forehead. So he's like messaging me all these things and I'm like, whatever. Like I'm not even really like replying in that way. And one night I'm at this Christmas party, just minding my own business, just whatever. And I look at my phone and I have a missed phone call and a voicemail. And it was from his girlfriend. And he was like, you better stay away from my man, like da-da-da, just going on and on and on and on and on. And I'm like, are you serious? And so I messaged him and I was like, I don't know who's reading this, if it's you or your girlfriend, but just so you know, he didn't mention a girlfriend, so that's the only reason I messaged him in the first place. I just cannot believe guys these days, guys and girls, it doesn't even have to be a guy, it can be a girl too. I don't understand. Like, if you're with someone, state it. If you're not, state it. If you want to just hook up with people, state that. But I cannot count how many times, not just really in my experience, because I'm just completely shut off from the dating world, but people that I know that'll get involved with these people and it'll seem like, oh my god, everything is great, like they're really nice, and then they just stop talking to them. They get what they want if that's what happens, or if they're not getting what they want, they just ghost. They just leave. This is what's wrong, like, with our society. Like, I'm so passionate about it. It's like no one takes anything seriously anymore. It's like a complete hookup community. There's no effort. And everything has just become about sex. And so when people ask me, like, why don't you just date people? Like, why don't you just do this? For one, it takes me a long time to, like people, like, have genuine feelings for them in order to, like, even want to hang out with them. So there's that. And I am just terrified to put myself out there just for someone to be like, well, we're just going to hook up and then it's over. So I feel like, and obviously I've been dealing with fuckboys since the beginning of time, before the term even like existed. So there's that. And I don't know. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up the video. I kind of went off topic on a tangent, but yeah, that pretty much wraps it up of my first kiss, my first boyfriend, and my first time, all which were like shitty times. I hope one day like I can find somebody that like genuinely can put all these like negative opinions of men behind me, but at this point I never noticed it until I started lining everything up. Every first thing, like, I thought it was normal. I thought it was that's just how life was. You just met some piece of crap and, you know, and that's just growing up. But then, you know, I look at other people, they're like, yeah, you know, like, I met this guy and everything was great for all these years and then it went bad. No, not my case. Hells to the no. So yeah, if you like this video or if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. All my social medias will be linked in the description box below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!